Okay, so what we stopped for us is this part about that question on the price index. So you have that question there, right? The one I
Mhm.
sent you in the group. It's the same thing. So they asked to find y, isn't it? So how will
Yeah.
you approach it actually? What's your first idea?
Uh, Use the composite index.
Yeah. So what's the formula?
The uh,
The normal formula used for what mean?
of the weightage times the frequency
Yeah. So what is the final formula? Do weightage times frequency s over.
was total weightage.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you know the formula. So you just use the info that they gave in the table here, isn't it? They have D,
Mm-hmm.
E, and F. So then the index is given is 121, 106, and Y. And then the weightage, you must base on the pie chart 50, 35, 15. So from here, you will find um, the index times weightage. So you have to times this times here, and times here. So I think you should be able to get already because you see the question gave you the info I 2021 over 2019 is 164.85. So basically you just have to solve for the variable y here. The same
Mm-hmm.
thing. So I think you can do it. Just try it now.
Okay.
So how you can do?
Uh, nope.
You see this area, right? Sum of index times weightage over sum of weightage is 164.85. So basically you times here and here. So you do
Mm-hmm.
121 times 50 plus 106 times 35 plus 15y. 15 times y, 15y. And then over 100. Because in a pie chart, total is 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Because the circle what 360 degrees or is in terms of percentage is 100%. And you make this equal to 164.85. So I think here you can solve already, no? Basic maths.
I'm stuck here. Yep.
Don't do this thing with the value. It might be slightly a large value. Must rotate this other way around.
So,
It can cos mul 6191 plus. You expanded correctly, yeah?
yeah.
121 times 50. You should get 9760 plus 15y over 100 equals 1684.85. You times the correct values.
Yeah. So
Let me
this one
check.
and this one.
121 times 50 It's 121 times 50, right? 121 times, yeah. Then plus 106 times 35. You get 9760. The one takes minor mistake. You should just like key in all the info in your calculator, just one shot, then you press equals to. Don't do like individually, there might come a mistake there.
Oh,
Then it will come like this. I think just an addition problem. Then you see it will come like this. Then you solve normally. 15y will equals to 6725. And you see the y value you get is 448.33. See such a big value, right? That's why don't doubt your answer when you reach here. There can also be a price index higher than 400, which we haven't seen so far. And that's what is given in the scheme also, so it's correct. So where the marks are coming from is this area. So when you can form this part, because only 2 marks, this one and this part, final answer. So 2 marks only. So you just have to, this table actually you don't need to draw, so it's just a guide. Because in this question it's not recorded. But just to be safe, you don't know the marks in the question, so you can just draw the table just in case, and then you just times, divide the weightage equals to this, then you solve. So this is how you do it for 13B. Okay, so
okay.
C I think is the normal method with all this while. Maybe you can try. C is quite normal. See, this question in price index is related because you see in C, without getting this answer correct, in B, you cannot solve it already because they're asking for price index of ingredient F. So you need to know this value first, then only you can proceed. You can look at the answers here, it's on top here. For 13C, 28.77 you should get.
Okay.
For 13D, I will show you what the answer scheme shown, and then I'll ask you, is it correct or wrong actually, what the answer they gave actually. So this time you will tell me whether it's correct or wrong.
Okay. Is this right? So,
Oh, the line correct, right?
What?
The one I plot the graph, is it correct?
Wait, I'll deep wait. The table you changed earlier.
Yeah. But the other value was right. 16, the one.
Which one? The y over square root x.
The one value is correct. The one you circle. The other one was wrong.
Which one I circled?
You circle the
11.8.
11.8. It's supposed to be 11.18.
Wait, where's the one? 26. This one's 25.35. The one, which one? The 16.4 should be 13.4 if you calculate correctly.
16.5 supposed to be 16.
Because they said the one is for y over square root x, right? So the question gave is 23.3. You must square root the 3, not over 3.
Oh, but when I calculated it was like this answer. When I used that
Wait,
one.
let me check. I check. This one, they are 23.2 over square root 3 over square root 3. I get 13.4
30.4.
from the calculator on my phone.
So the answer is 5.196
Wait,
over
let me try. If you didn't square root it, do I get your answer over 3? Or then cannot, so it doesn't get in there.
Wait, so that means wait, let me check again.
No, the other one is 11.8. Where is that? Should be
The other
11.
one 11.18.
What?
The other one
Correct
11.1.
already. 11.2. Same lah. Just the one only.
is this correct?
You get 28.77.
Wait, how is it?
Oh, you're showing that step. Wait.
Yeah. 400 something.
Yeah, correct. 20.
Correct, right?
They're asking for 2019 over 2017, right? Wait, that info is actually 2021 over 2019. If you notice, you see, the table put there 2021 base 2019 is the y value down there 448.33. But down the question we find we cannot have a value. You need to solve the left hand side and right hand side. Remember these two parts. I 2019. Now this one 2021 base 2019 is 448.33. From here you solve one side, then the other side also same thing. The other one is based on the 2021 base 2017 price index. Because they gave you in the question 2021 base 2017 is 129. So if I ask you the common year here is what?
2021.
Yeah. So what will we do to it?
Eliminate.
Yeah. So that's why you cannot you cannot say like this I 2019 over 2017 is 448.33 because that is the final answer you're supposed to get. So it won't be logical. Because this question it goes further a bit. They ask you to actually if I say the index is also quite low, quite a low index. In the end you get very low actually. This because you see the extreme value you got here 448.33. So you see it affects your final answer for the price index of the 2 years. It comes until such a big decrease, 28.77. So quite low. Aldeep, how that one? Okay.
I redo the graph. The B I got 3. M I get 1.99, still the same the M. But M is 2, right?
Which one? The B part?
Yeah, B part.
Wait, B part. I get now they ask A and B, right?
Yeah.
A I get 2, B I get 3.2.
Or I got 3 for B, but it's correct.
What you got?
B is 3.
Okay lah, bit of variation. They'll have that there is a range in the marking scheme they can accept.
Alright. The rest are done already. One just the integration and you can help to do.
Yeah, I can help that one. You can
Because the-
send your final graph again.
Oh, alright.
With the table, you correct that one value also. And also you're working for the A and B value. So for hours, you just check the part until you get for P20, 21, and 2019, this last part, whether it tally or not. P20, 21 is equal to 269 over 60 P2019. You should get this side one like this. And then the other side is P20, 21. P20, 21 is 129 over 100, P20, 17. Then you solve it simultaneously. Let both sides equal, then you can get. The one, your latest one, right, Audip, you sent?
Yeah, the latest.
Okay. Later you have to present, no?
Alright.
Usually, Aldi, when we draw the wait, let me see. We will draw the table, right, for the linear law. We'll usually put we will put the x-axis on top first on the table. What is the variable on the x-axis? So we put x square root x on top, then y over square root x bottom. When we draw the table.
Oh, but I thought you cannot use the on top. Why can I put X and Y on top?
Which one? What do you mean?
Like if you put Y on top, can right?
I think can lah, as long as the values are correct. As long when you plot the graph time, your y-axis is this one, and when the x-axis is this one.
Oh, okay, okay. So I am mistaken.
So that you don't get confused later when you do the next.
Alright,
question.
alright.
And also the table part you can leave to one decimal place also, because you see the scale given the question, right? Wait, there's no scale in the question, so you have to use your own scale in this case. Oh God, got 2 cm to 2 units, so you can just leave it to one decimal place for both your axes, because in the graph you cannot go until so precise like 2 decimal place. There won't be a scale for it in our graph.
Alright, alright.
But no need to change that one already. You just send for your B part. So do you get the answer already, ours?
No.
What do you get?
This one I divide. This one divide this one.
Wait, P20, 21 over 2019. Okay. So finally you must. That one is not. That one you put 448.33 away.
I born, I come for another. Give me 2 minutes.
Oh, that one because I used the fraction, so you can leave it like that.
Born,
So you should get
give me 2
the
minutes.
answer.
I'll come back.
Huh?
You give me 2 minutes. I come
Okay.
back. Your content.
So okay. Got times too. You can proceed with that value. It's correct already. Just I change it to a proper fraction so that it looks nice without the decimal.
Oh.
So you can get
Wait.
Alright, what am I missing?
nothing. Never start yet. I did check for you.
Alright, thanks for.
And then the last one, so the B and C you can send.
Oh, alright, B and C.
You did anywhere? Oh, wait, you did here. Okay. I check from you.
Boon, how do you know the marking scheme? You know you got any file about the marking scheme?
Yeah, I got later. I will share in the group after
Alright.
the class. Got the similar question. So ours how? Okay.
Still finding.
You got to the last part already. Huh?
No, still
Which
the
one?
left and right.
Wait, I show this. This part if you can get P 2021 is 129 or 100 can get.
Yeah, that one.
Then this one also is okay. Then you just equalize both, no? Like 129. I mean 269 over 60 P 2019 equals 129 over 100. Just
Yeah.
equalize it. Think you can get already. Wait, let me check and see. It's 269 over 60, the same value. Wait,
Boon, y'all the answer what time? The mental mentee?
6.
6.
Now we'll start at the our part.
Oh, alright. I send you the PDF lah. Want me to share the PDF?
Yeah, you share. You can present later.
Alright. I can't talk so much because I got sore throat.
Oh, I'll explain from your part lah. You just share the screen, then I can
I
explain.
I just talk a bit lah about it.
Can. I'll explain my part also, so you don't need to do that much.
Alright.
I think this part you can maintain the decimal, but actually I get the same answer as the scheme. So I think this one is correct. You can use this.
That one.
Yeah, 129 269 over 60 P 2019 equals 129 over 100 P 2017. Like this. Then you just cross it. Then you get I 2019 over 2017, 129 over 100 times 60 over 269 times 100. This will be your index, this part. You can get there, I think should be okay. Let me check and see. 129 over 100, 60 over 269. Yeah, get it already. So it's correct. So this part
269.
28.77. So it's quite a low index. So if I ask you to interpret it, how will you interpret the number? It's final answer?
Decrease by
Yeah. Just use the calculator.
decrease by 71.23%.
Yeah, okay, good, Adit. Yeah, correct. So this is part is just 2 marks, A1 and 1. As usual, the part where you show the left hand side, right hand side, the marks will not be given. Only the final 2 part where you show this part. So yeah, it's only 2 marks. The next question I'll ask you whether how is it done, is it correct or not, if you can understand the working.
Okay.
13D. So 13D, this is how they gave the working. So let's see. Because here the question is asking you the price in year 2023. So this is how they did it. Actually, even here there's an error, so just ignore this part. This one is 582.33, but then the next step they put is 582.23. That one is okay. That's just a small error, so I just put 3 here. So tell me which line did they make a mistake here based on the question? This is line number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. First, you must interpret that index given. La. So, if they say increase 30%, what does it mean?
130.
Yeah, 130. So, the info is I 2023. This is composite because they say cost membuat biscuit means the whole tin itself, including all the 3 ingredients. So, the composite index of 2023 base 2021 is 130. So, then they ask you find the price of the biscuit. In year 2013 if P 2019 is RM20. So actually, it's 2023, not 2013. So actually, you see here, this is also a mistake already because price, right? They didn't put a unit here in the final mark. So 4 definitely out. So out of the 3 remaining, which one will be a mistake actually? Which part do you think?
3.
3, okay. If you say 3, yeah, in a way it's correct because the final answer from here is different also. But if you go further up, which part do you think is wrong?
The times part.
This part, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the part where they did the wrong step. Because if you see, right, the explanation here is this value is wrong. 448.33. Because when you find composite index, when you find I, price index of ingredient F, we actually we are already talking about one ingredient. We cannot use this one ingredient to find a composite index. As you see, we have to combine D, E, F all together. So you see, this is what they use. Your Y value, their Y value is I 2021 base 2019. So they suddenly put it inside here and mix it together with 130, which is a composite index. In fact, this is a composite. This is composite of 2021 base 2019 is 164.85. So you cannot just combine a composite index and the price index just in one formula like that. It has to be separate. So that's why you see you cannot tally to the answer. So this is why it's wrong. So actually you have to do it the same way, left hand side and right hand side. But that one I will just snap my working and send to you so that you can see. Now we will start with audit. So you can listen to our part because now we'll be doing linear law actually, the one you asked for. The next topic, price index done already. So linear law, now you can see how the question actually comes out.
Okay.
Now, how did it come?
Alright, I will share the result.
Yeah. If you have any questions, you can ask, always.
Okay.
You can start first.
Alright, give me 1 minute. Wait,
Okay.
Let me share.
That's the one I marked one, that graph paper.
Wait. Oh, the one mark one.
Then they know where the mark coming from.
Oh, okay. Wait, I put down in PDF.
This question you answered always in the exam.
Which one?
Linear law for paper 2.
Nope.
Okay. So it's actually quite easy to get marks, the topic, but also easy to lose marks.
Paper
Because the
2.
question, what?
You mean the log one?
Wait, let me check. Forgot the
The
question.
log.
Was it? Mm, no, for the media one, y equals ax squared plus abx. Question number 8, section B.
The graph thing.
Yeah, linear law.
I think I got answer.
How much you got?
I don't know.
You got back your paper already,
I never seen my paper.
but got back already, lah.
I don't know the paper. I just know the marks.
Oh, never mind. Later you can see.
Okay.
Alright,
You okay already?
share.
Yeah. Yeah, that one.
Alright, question number 7. Okay, this is the graph. Okay, the graph I should down here. Question number 7. They require you to draw a graph. As you see, Boon want to show the question also. Or?
Yeah, can switch between the question and this one.
Oh wait, I don't check put PDF for the question. Wait,
That's okay.
wait. Sorry, wait.
Okay. I can write on the board also if you want. Easier.
You sure? No. I better. I thought that one more easier lah. So no need
Okay.
to. Wait, The question you send the group idea.
Yeah, it's in the group. Must
Okay.
go, must scroll up a bit, lah.
Oh, okay.
Quite long ago already.
So,
I can put a dot for you, then easier
can will be better.
found a day. Yeah, just see the latest one.
Alright, thanks, Boon. Alright, number 7. Okay, share. Okay, can see?
Yeah, can already.
Okay. Question number 7. They require you to draw a graph. So they say table 7 shows the value of two variables x and y obtained from an experiment. So it is known that x and y are related to the equation y is equal to ax squared plus b squared x, where a and b are constant. So the 7a they ask you plot y over squared x against x squared x by using a scale of 2 cm to 2 units on the both axes. Hence draw the line of best fit. So here they require you to draw a graph. So they ask you to make 2 cm to 2 units on both axes. So that means one square of your graph equals to 2 cm. Okay, one square is equals to 2 cm. So that means if it's 2 cm, that means 2. Okay, wait, let me show you. Wait, so, oh, all right. Can see? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you see in my graph, okay, the two you cannot see fully by the way. So if you see that 1, 2, 3, 4 on the x-axis, so each have two boxes. So two of these boxes equals to 2 cm. So one big box equals to 2 cm. Small boxes, two small boxes equals to 2 cm. So when they ask you 2 cm or 2 axis, 2 units, that means 2 units will be the plot we want.
Hardik,
1, 2, yeah.
that one you label, I think, a bit wrong. That one the first box should be 2, because 2 cm to 2 unit means 2 in the starting.
No. Wait, boy, no. I actually know because
That's the old one.
yeah, that's the old one. The zero is supposed to be there. Sorry, the zero is supposed to be there. This is the old one.
Mhm.
Wait, let me check
Uh,
my one.
Wait, because I never take photo fully because my PDF don't know what happened. But there is supposed to be zero before it.
Yeah,
So this the two.
but then anyway, after the 0, right? After you selang 2 boxes, the starting one should be 2. It cannot start with 1, because they say 2 cm to 2 units means every 2 cm it increase 2 unit.
But
Means
the one box is equals to two. Two boxes equals to two. Won't
no, the
you?
2 cm they are meaning 2 boxes, not the 2 units. 2 units is the number after the 2
Yeah,
box.
lah, but they say by using scale of 2 cm to 2 units.
Mm.
So that means 2 cm is the box one. Then 2 units is what we put the graph.
No, but then 2 units means like this. You see, if I draw a graph, right, if it boxes, you see 2 cm. Like say this is one box, one box, one box. If here is 0, this is 2 cm. Means here should be 2. This is the one on the values on the x-axis is actually representing the units. It's not in the value of cm, because you see 2 is just a value. It doesn't have like a unit. It's just x square root x. Means it's just a normal value. When you move 2 cm, it should get 2 units. Always.
But not like that, Bhuvan. Because they say, oh,
Always normal graph like this one. They'll tell the scale 2 cm 2 units. The one is you draw is 2 cm to 1 unit, means it increases
oh
by
yeah, yeah.
1.
That's right. But never mind lah. I make it
Okay.
larger lah. Alright. So sorry. I did mistake. Supposed to be. It's supposed to be like that. So if two boxes, after two boxes like 0 starting at the first, after those two boxes will be 2. After the two boxes will be 4. After that will be 6, 8, 10. Just follow like that. So my graph will be wrong lah. Boon, you didn't saw that the plot time.
I didn't see that down there. What was the scale?
Oh, never mind. Okay. So
Okay, just explain the graph.
alright. So what I do is I just plot it as even same at the y-axis. You put 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. All the thing you put 2, 2, 2, 2. After that, you plot. When they say baseline fleet, okay. When they say baseline fleet, let me go here. Wait, I'll show what's the meaning of baseline fleet. Alright. I hope you can see this. Okay. What they mean by baseline fleet? Baseline fleet means if here is okay. See, if here, that means here you've got 1x, 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 1x. Okay. So just imagine when you want to draw the line time, one of the axes don't kena. Alright. So when one of the axes don't kena, it's okay. But make sure both of the sides of the axes are balanced. If here's one x never enter the line, then here 1x also will not enter the line. So both must be balanced. If here there 2, there 2x cannot go through. So you must make sure your line is best fit. That's the meaning of best fit. Is it correct, Bowen?
Yeah, okay, correct.
Alright. So now after you did the graph, you must make sure your line hits the y-axis here. You get the C value, but here you can't see properly because PDF. So when you hit the y-axis C, you will have few variation of your answer. Depends on the individual in the exam. Sometimes his line will hit specific place, or sometimes it doesn't hit. So what is the range, Abuan, for the value?
It depends on the question actually, like how your line can deviate like that, like how steep it is or less steep. So it depends on the question actually. Scale is not fixed, like the range can be anything.
Alright. So like you in there you can see the C value. It can be over there. What I got is 3.
Mm.
So it can be 3.2, it can be 3.1, it can be 0.2.9 or 2.8. So it's like this, but make sure it's close in decimals. It cannot be like 4
Yeah.
or it cannot be by 5, like that cannot. But make sure tepat-tepat like that.
I
It's
think
okay
you
what
already
you
got correct for the y-intercept because that part, well, because the x-axis scale went wrong. That's why I think the y-intercept deviate a bit, or else you'll get exactly same already.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. So now we want to calculate this one. Okay, I'll show to you how to calculate. Now for B, okay, then I will calculate for B. Okay, for B, now B they ask you use the graph in A to estimate the value of A and B. So based on your graph, you must find A and B. So now when we look to our graph just now and we look against that, so now we have two things we can know. From the graph there, we must make sure that we must make that graph value equals to the graph in the question. Okay, wait, I'll show you the equation. The question, wait, tab. All right. Okay, as you can see here, what I did was in B, I make it first y is equal to ax squared plus b third x. So we follow that earlier equation they gave in the question. So you make that y equals to the y we use in the graph. So when I make this like that, so it will be ax squared over third x. So as you know, x squared over third x equals to x times third x. You get the same value. Okay, it's the same thing and you get the same value because when you divide there, anything you divide with y, the x value will be the same as in the graph because we already did that already. Okay, so now we need to compare the values from our graph with the values in the equation we normally make the thing. So as you know, y equals to mx plus c, we know briefly that y is mx plus c. That means we can compare it. So y will be y over third x equals to, so m will be in this time will be a, and x will be x squared over third x, and plus b is the c. So when they ask you a and b, that means you know already y-intercept is the b. So b is to c, so b is equals to 3, and a is equals to m. So what we do is I take the value of 25.35 minus with 5 because I take a lot longer decide to get more accurate answer. Take 25.35 minus with 5 over 11.18 minus with 1. Just follow y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. After that, you get your gradient. So we know m is for 1.99. So a, I can make it to uh, I can make it to 1 decimal place by making it to 2. Okay, so at last you get answer A is equal to 2. As you can see, Boer shows you the marks how you get is K1 you will get from your calculation, and the answer you get is N1, you get one calculation. Same thing over there, you get 1 mark for your calculation over there and you change to a new equation. After you get the answer for B, you get 1 more mark. So for B. For C, if your plot is correct, your scale is correct, and your table you put, you get 6 marks. So you must make sure your line is best fit. As you can see, Bowen tick those lines, tick those export is what we plot in the graph. So you must make sure what you plot in the graph is accurate and make sure it's best fit to get marks for it. So that's for me. Can we hear from Bowen?
Okay. So now, right, when you get this question first, you see the equation already given here. So the equation is a
First,
normal
you want me to
equation.
share the question?
Equation. So this
Or
question.
does you want me to share the question or
What?
you want me to share the question or
Yeah, you can share.
share?
In the group.
So in the Google Meet, so you can see is it?
Okay. So basically, when you see this equation, right, you have to notice the question they ask you is plot y over square root x against x, x square root x. So the first part, when you see this question, you have to think how are you going to convert this equation into this y over square root x on the left hand side and also x square root x on the right hand side. This is actually going to the form of y equals mx plus c. And why we put capital Y and capital X instead of the normal equation you see small y and small x is because we modified from another equation which is coming from here. So this is the reason why we comes like this. So basically, what can you do from this equation is you divide by square root x because that's the only way to get to y over square root x. So if you divide on the left hand side square root x means right hand side also divide square root x. So finally you have to separate the terms because denominator is only one term, so you can share it to both sides from the operation here. So ax squared over square root x plus b square root x over square root x y over square root x equals. So this part is your indices chapter. So this chapter can also relate to your knowledge of indices, surds, and log. So that chapter also you have to be strong to convert here. Like what Aldeep did, I think Aldeep left it here. So actually can also learn. If you want to go more to a more simpler form to show this form of y equals mx plus c, you can actually do it this way. So it's x power half. See, if it's a surd, it's a power half. Because surd actually means power 2 here. And the variable is x. X, there's no power here, means automatically is power 1. So it's x 1 over 2. Here the top one is showing the power, is the A, and the B is actually showing the surd. So when you shift it up, insert rule, when they have the same term x, divide means minus. So you have to minus the power. Power 2 minus 1 over 2. Surd x over surd x you can cancel off because here is times. So you plus b. Then you see it makes sense. You see the y-intercept just now Aldeep showed is c equals b. So yeah, so that's how you get to it. And then finally, you will get to the answer of ax square root x. Because 2 minus 1 over 2 is 3 over 2, right? So if 3 over 2, x power 1 plus x power 1 over 2, this power 1, this is x power 1 over 2, you get x power 3 over 2, which comes from here. So this is the verified equation. This is the simplest you can go. So this is actually a new part of the marking scheme. This part, actually you get a P mark. So what is actually meant by a P mark is actually a process mark. So it's actually the process mark meaning is you set up an appropriate process to find solution in the context of the question. So this is the question. You actually do this as a process. It's not part of the question A or question B yet. So this part you will get a mark already, 1 mark. So I think that one Aldeep, you can show that part. I think you can share your screen. Aldeep,
Oh yeah. Sorry. What must I go now?
your answer. I want to show where's the process mark.
All right. All right. There you go, boy.
Then scroll up a bit.
Okay. Here.
So you can see, yeah, stop there. So this is the part where I got to lah. Then, this part, this is where you stop. Y over square root x equals ax square over square root x plus b square root x over square root x. So to make this form of equation more apparent, you can actually go further and leave it to this part so that you can see a clear form of y equals mx plus c. Because if you leave it here, right, here you can see y. Here you can simplify further. Square root x and square root x you can cut. And then here also you can simplify it because it's a like term, x square over x power 1 over 2 in this chapter. So you finally solve, it comes to here. So you can see your y equals mx plus c. This is your x-axis that you wanted, x square root x, x square root x. So that's how you compare it to the general form. So that actually earns you 1 mark. And then for the graph part, graph actually gives you 3 marks. This one you want, Aldeep, I can send you if you want.
Yeah, will be better, Moon. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So for graph, it can either be 3 marks or 4 marks depending on the question. So if you see this graph, it's actually quite a perfect graph because sometimes in the exam you will get to like 16.81. This one you see you get a perfect value of 2 and 3. This is quite rare case this question, the graph value you get. Usually you will get in decimals. That's why there is a range coming in. So I think this one for Aldi, right? I think this one might have a fixed answer only because you get a whole number directly. 2 and 3.2. It might not have a range, this question, because it's a perfect graph, which is rare. So if I draw the axis here, it's just a rough sketch. So let's see if we can count y over square root x, x square root x, 0. So the scale I'll leave this the part must be 2 units, 8, 10, 12, until 12. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, until. How did the scale just now you draw until where?
I draw you mean my scale or the question scale?
Your scale, the graph for y-axis.
Oh, 2 units, 2 cm to 1. Yeah.
Can show again? Can go to. Oh, it's cut off already. Never mind lah. I think it's okay.
There, 2 cm to 1 unit.
The one also must change lah. It should be 2 cm to 2 units. So basically, let me just make it smaller a bit so that can fit here. So if 2 cm I put down here a bit so that I can reach 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Okay. So the highest point we get from the graph that we modified is actually 25.4. Yeah. So you can fit here. So based on the table, so you have to draw a table in this question, but usually in linear law, they will divide it into 3 separate sections, especially if you see in our exam paper, right, Hollis? If you notice, let's see. In exam paper, you see, they divided it into 3 parts. They say construct table first, then draw graph, then find the value of A and B, something like this question.
Yes.
So it's just a modified a bit. 2 marks, 4 marks, 4 marks. So here is your table, which is x square root x, y over square root x. So this one, when you construct your table, make sure this part is correct. Just keep on pressing your calculator so that all the values here are correct. Only if all the values here are correct, both sides you get 2 marks. If one wrong, it won't be 2 marks a day. Because 1 mark here is for all 6 values correct. That's how it goes. So must be careful this part. Decimal place, usually you refer to the scale. So in this case, they say 2 cm to 2 units. So your scale can go max here is 1 decimal place. Then only you can have a logical scale to plot on both axes. If you go up to 2 decimal place, that is too accurate for this graph. That's why you see your final answer of gradient and y-intercept, you get a whole number, or like the y-intercept, you get 3.2. So basically, you just go 1 decimal place should be enough. So here you just add the 0. When you get 1, you just add 1.0 so that you show the examiner you leave it to 1 decimal place. So that's the same meaning. 2.8
8.6, 5.2, 13.4, 8.0, 19.0, 11.2. So usually this question is the old syllabus for MKBSM. That's why you have 5 points only here. But now the latest syllabus, you have to plot 6 points. Yeah, based on our exam, yes, 6 points maximum. So that's how the marks are going. So here is N1, and here is N2, N1, N2. So advice here is at least one decimal place for this graph. And then you base your values here to plot this graph. So let's say I draw roughly, let's see where it can intersect 1 and 5, 1, 5, and then 2.8 until 8.6 around here, 5.2, 13.4 around here, and then 8.19, 8.19, and then 11.2 until 25.4. So up here, 11, 25.4, okay. So when you draw the line here, might not be straight because there's no ruler. So you see it intersect. Make sure when you draw your line, don't just stop at this point. You have to cut this y-axis. Always make sure any graph also cut this y-axis. Because the third question, C part, they'll ask you to find the value of A and B. So basically, always these two values, one is relating to a gradient, one is relating to y-intercept. So your graph is the most important part. Because B question, if graph you get wrong, these values out automatically for marks gone, and then depend on the graph. This one scale, make sure it's correct. That one also there's 1 mark. So basically, your first mark is coming from plotting a graph. Follow the instruction of the question. Y over square root x against x square root x. That's your first mark. And then one more is you plot all the 5 points correctly. So that's how the teacher will check learn the exam. And then the last mark is your understanding of best fit line. How you construct a best fit line. The side total from the graph you get is 3 out of 3 here. So basically here is K1, K1. This one mark is not for each. 1 mark is for both of the scale correctly. Then only you get 1 mark, not 1 mark each for each axis. Then see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. And then overall, this one is N2 if it's correct. So yeah. How did you can do the summary on the chapter?
Summary is just plot the graph, make sure it's best fit or what. Make sure when you plot make sure your scale equals the scale, and this question is easy to score.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I tell always what recommend you to do this question in the exam. Always try choosing this question whenever it comes out. And also one more thing, right? The gradient part. When they ask you to find gradient, remember don't use the points that you use to plot here and count the gradient. Like the values here in the table, don't take like this value minus this value over this value minus this value. It might go wrong. So just take any random point on the graph, and then you construct this triangle to show this is a process of calculating the gradient. So just take any 2 points and then use the formula of gradient, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to get your answer. And then your last part, your y-intercept. Also, don't just sub random values into the original equation to get your p-value, because they say based on graph. So this is the keyword, based on the graph. So in the graph, you cannot read with your naked eyes 2.3438 like that with 4 decimal place. Impossible to read. That can only be obtained from a calculator. So it must be maximum 1 decimal place only.
Naked, you must have no clothes or go clothes.
What?
The thing must have clothes or no clothes.
What no clothes?
The point.
Naked eyes.
Oh, so the eyes no clothes, huh?
Maybe. So yeah, that's how it
My
is. So you can do
conclusion is
conclusion, Aldeep.
that's all for today. I want to go and sleep.
What?
That's what I thought I get my conclusion. There's also one decimal point.
Yeah, it's about the, yeah. So what do you think about this chapter
I
generally?
feel it's just a normal chapter and an easy score, but Noche come from 5 here. The chapter 6 of this from 5 is worse.
Oh, trigonometry.
Yes.
Hmm.
The cos
I
90
tried.
degrees equals to so all those things.
That one also got graph actually. You
Yeah.
realize?
They're easy, right? The graph.
Yeah, much easier compared to this because it's less technical.
Oh,
Well,
just draw
hmm.
like a ocean wave.
Yeah. Wait, no. I connect my laptop.
Ni tomorrow do class also.
What?
Tomorrow do class or Sunday or do class.
Every Friday only, what?
You cannot do one more because of the two questions.
Which one?
Now what the questions you want to do? The one 8, 9, 10. Then a few questions to finish the paper off.
Wait, I see first.
Alright.
Wait, come back. Hmm. I push it a bit away so I want to charge it. Then we can.
Alright.
Okay.
Later, I scared what happened to Howard's class that time. It just went off like that.
So I was sleeping.
I must on. You taking photo?
Huh?
You took photo already.
Wait, let me check. Did I take one? I took it.
Alright. So I can chow.
Wait. I just explain one last thing.
Alright, sir.
Okay, yeah, I took already. So just about the characteristics of best speed line to sum up this chapter. So these are important notes when you draw the graph. Even this can apply to physics, Like sometimes in the Ujian Amali, right, they ask you to draw the graph, right? That one also must be best speed sometimes. So it's applicable even to
That's
maths,
why.
maybe. So characteristics of best speed line. This is where your one of the mark is coming from when the teacher checks your graph. So this one must be correct also to get full marks for your graph. So when we see, so this is the ideal graph that you might get. Let's say I just give you 5 random points here. Straight it connect all this. So this is your ideal form of the graph. But in reality, when you do an experiment, there is a tendency for one value to go wrong in the recording, maybe due to external factors or anything, like wind, anything. Usually, exam can also come up with a D question in this linear law I've seen before. The correct value of anything, a random point, if one of the points is recorded wrongly. This is also one of the questions that can come out in linear law. This is where your graph actually has values like this. You can't join all the points. You see up, down. So probably they can ask you like this one, what will be the correct value if this point is plotted like this? So this is the actual one that you get. So not all the points are plotted on the straight line.
Like first time I hearing about that. If the question is wrong,
What?
first time I hearing that type of question.
The question will be correct only. They just say the point is plotted wrongly. Means actually in a way the question give you a wrong value but not the question is wrong.
Oh,
They
you go
want,
from the textbook. The question.
huh?
The question
No,
is from the textbook. Eh?
I think it's a trial paper question also. Come out. It can come out also. So the first characteristic of best fit line is 4 points that do not lie on a straight line.
4 points.
No, four. FOR, not FOUR.
No, so that means there's 4 points cannot be on the line.
Not for FOR, not FOUR.
Oh,
So yeah, and this is the most key characteristic. Straight line that passes through as many points as possible. So this is one thing you must consider. Passes through as many points as possible. So always when you draw this linear law, always advisable use transparent ruler so that you can see all your points nicely. Then you can draw a long straight line and cut the y-axis. And also one more thing is use sharp pencil, because when it's blunt, right, this line will come very dark, and it also can be misinterpreted by the examiner as double line. Double line will give you wrong already. Must be one smooth curve and come like that. Like usually, like in maths, right, when you draw a line, it should come smooth like that. Shouldn't have like a dark line like this. This will give you wrong already. So this is why they advise you use a sharp pencil so that you get a clear line like this and not like a double line. So that's
My one was a clear line, right?
what?
My one was a clear line, right? The one I did.
Yeah, usually if straight line, that shouldn't be any problem. Only when it's curved, because you have to make sure your hand can flow well and draw the graph. If straight, it's just ruler only. There shouldn't be any issue.
Uh,
So basically, the last one is make sure the x-axis starts from 0. This is the key point, no? So that the y-intercept can be read easily. And always know your conversions. So that is one thing I was trained always about converting the linear equations to non-linear. So that one I will just send you some questions so that you can do, because that is the basic part you need to know before you can solve a linear law question. The one you have to convert first, then only you can find your values of A and B in the third question. Without that, you cannot do the question. So that one I got questions here already. So that one you can try. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll take picture for this.
thanks, Abun.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, done. Can
Oh,
stop
okay.
share first, I think. Later open your cameras, take
Not
picture.
handsome.
Let's focus.
I see Bhuvan, the most handsome person.
Why?
Nah, this is okay, lah. Chill lah. So on, now on.
Yeah. Ours also.
Don't know whether my camera on okay or not.
Okay, but nice.
Wow, what the hell is that? Too cool lah.
Audib's one better.
No, I'm on a shit only.
Okay, yeah.
Adik handsome.
Lah.
Yeah, stop record first.